everybody, and welcome back to the Complete Podcast. This is episode 37. My name is Tyler, and I'm joined by all the boys today. They're all here.
Gang.
Zach, Brendy, and Bobby. And we have a good show today. We're going to start with Zach's Thought of the Week, as always, but
hang on. I just want to interrupt really quick.
It's going so well.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Ty was actually on a roll. He actually remembered how to do the intro.
I just want to say, you guys know I had to, let a big old fart out before we started here.
Okay.
Rachel May just texted me and said, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Yeah, there was some pre-podcast show antics
some
going.
Pre-podcast gold, if you will.
Yeah,
yeah.
Hey, Zach, you want to tell everybody your slogan for your political campaign?
I already forgot it.
You're the fucking worst.
All right, moving on.
Which one, the first one or the second one?
Whatever one at this point, since you can't fucking remember.
Money isn't real 2020.
There you go. Just print more.
And also breaking news, I will be buying NHL 20.
Holy, hold on. That fucking deserved it. Hold on. Okay.
I thought we were going to do the hot take thing.
Oh, well, I mean, that's like a dozen of these.
Honestly, a hot take.
Actually, let's be real.
Oh, I want to say this. I'm gonna preface this before. I might be fucking up here. I'm not gonna lie. I want to preface something new, Zach. You are gonna be mad at this game, okay?
Yep. I've had a break.
That's all.
I've taken a break from this from the game, and my anger's down low. It's under control again, and I think I'm ready to let it get crazy again.
Do you have any idea how much you're pissing off the guys who have to keep putting your fucking jersey back up and down in the fucking rafters every fucking season? I don't think you understand how much money you're costing this team.
Hey, pay a guy just to do that.
Yes.
Hey, to be fair, Bobby, though, it's probably been up in the rafters for probably about 2 weeks now.
I know, but they were I think they went to Hawaii and took the vacation just to celebrate because it finally got up there and had to go up, down, up, down, up, down during the last month of NHL 19. It was fucking ridiculous how quickly he retired. He pulled a Brett Favre in a matter of a month. It was amazing.
Mr. Butterstick has retired. I guess you guys are free to go from your duties.
Yep. See ya.
The rope they're using is just starting to wear and tear.
They were actually happy to be laid off, and now they have to come back to work. This fucking sucks for them.
The only job I get.
I seen that the Wells Fargo Center. I believe it was the Wells Fargo Center, at least, introduced a rage room.
Oh, dude.
Am I right in saying that? We need that for our stadium.
We fucking do. Although, we're not going to charge... It's $35 to get into it. $60 for two people.
Jesus Christ.
But, I mean, it's $35 to go in and break shit without any consequence. I mean, that's a decent amount of power to carry right there.
Yeah, I mean, I'd go in.
Sure. Honestly, if you think about that, you're probably breaking stuff that's over.
I'll take a VIP for the rage room.
Yeah, Zach would be Zach would have
you'd have a fucking time.
Full membership.
Oh, absolutely. He'd buy season tickets just to go in there.
Yeah, it's just I found that funny that was in the Wells Fargo Center, but. There are Flyers, and that's where the Flyers and Sixers play, so that makes sense.
We're 2-0, though. We're 2-0, and we look good.
We're also going for a perfect record of 0-82.
Absolutely.
Boys, I should not have had tacos for this podcast.
Are you fucking kidding me?
All right, let's go.
We're going to have to hurry this up then before he fucking explodes all over his chair.
I'm good. I've been muting my mic and letting it out.
We don't have a time slot for Brendy cleaning up shit.
Oh, I thought I put that in this segment. Ty, why didn't you put it in the fucking rundown? We're supposed to give him 10 minutes for that.
Yeah, that's my fault. That's on me. So today we're going to talk about the four major sports having games internationally.
Wait, what about Thought of the Week?
I'm trying to preview the show for the people.
Okay, go.
On the podcast, we're going to talk about the four major sports having games internationally, and then we're going to talk about college football or the NFL. Zach's Thought of the Week. Zach, go.
Zach's Thought of the Week. Let's get it. This one is sponsored by your boy Brendy. He asked me this. This is something deep and personal that he texted me. A man-to-man conversation here. So I just wanted to bring this question up to you guys. Would you rather date a girl with the voice of Tay Zonde or date a girl with a full mustache?
Oh my god.
What fucking drugs were you on for this one, Brendy?
I literally it was honestly a shower thought.
Okay, hold on. Now that even opens up no whole nother door of questions. Why the fuck were you thinking about Tay Sunday in the shower?
Chocolate rain.
I'm leaving that vault and going nowhere near it. Never mind.
Over there.
Never mind. Fucking
Dude,
hell.
dude, sometimes I will literally just for no reason, I will just be thinking about Chocolate Rain, that fucking song.
But what?
Rain.
Okay.
You are lying to yourself if you say you don't at least think about that once a month.
Chocolate Rain?
I don't think I've ever thought about that.
I mean,
Well,
I think
you are
about it,
now.
but I don't think it's that often.
Ty, do you know what Chocolate Rain is?
I know what Chocolate Rain is, and my question to Brendy is, so did you just have a bunch of Taco Bell before you got in the shower, and then stuff started happening, then you started thinking about Chocolate Rain?
No, dude, this was I texted this to him a few days ago, and I had tacos, so.
Well,
Our boy's gonna be dead.
Ty,
by
are
the
you
end of this
familiar with
fucking show.
Chocolate Rain by Tay Sunday?
yes.
You don't belong on
would-
the internet if you're not familiar with that song.
Yeah.
I would recite the song, but my
Dude, I mean, so
know.
I know what my answer is. What about you guys?
God, I'm cutting out. Sorry.
man, I don't know.
Mine's cut and clear, dude. I know which one I'm picking.
Okay, go then. I want to hear your thought.
Dude, a girl with the voice of Tay Sunday.
Is that just a turn on for you?
She would serenade me beautifully.
I was gonna say she could rock my ass to sleep.
So the reason I'm gonna agree with Zach here is because if I were to go with a girl with the full mustache, I would assume she could shave it, but the next day it would be fully grown back or something, you know?
No way I'm having sex with a girl with a mustache. That's all I'm saying.
You're insane.
Okay, and also we have to clarify. When I think of
he had to have
when you
sex,
said
he was
that,
dating.
okay.
Okay. They
life.
typically go hand in hand. Hold on
Well,
now.
for some of us.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm just
shut-
gonna throw that shot in there.
That's such an inside one, dude.
So,
Damn.
but when I think about that, I think of an Italian baker with or Chef Boyardee or so, big old mustache. That's what I think about, and I can't get behind that.
can't
Handlebars
tell
or
if that's
no
racist or
handlebars?
not. He literally says,
How is that racist?
I think of a mustache and I think of Italians. That's it.
A cartoon, you ever watch a cartoon? It's a pizza chef, and he's got the big hat on, and he's got a big black mustache.
And do you realize how outdated those are nowadays?
Don't play podcast member Tyler Johnson is Italians.
Disgraced.
I'm just saying that's the first thing I thought of. That's all I need to clarify. Is that what we're dealing with here?
Tyler is
just a regular
quoted as
mustache?
saying Italians have mustaches.
You literally could just say a Mario mustache and it would be fine.
Would have been better. Italian
Right.
plumber over there.
You're right.
Yeah. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I'm going with the Tay Sunday voice.
Tay Sunday voice easily, dude.
But
That'd be beautiful.
okay,
Honestly, I prefer it.
here's the thing. So
He's on the other side. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, but this girl sings. If she sings "Chocolate Rain" to you, what do you think she's talking about? That's my question.
No, she doesn't have to sing Chocolate Rain to you. She can sing anything.
You don't get that kind of voice and don't
Could
sing
be
that
the-
song.
Could be the ABCs.
Could be our
Could be,
national anthem.
Yeah, it could be "Slob on My Knob" by Juicy J.
3-6 Mafia, excuse you.
I really wanted to sing
Yeah,
that,
but it's Juicy
but
J.
it was too hard. I was gonna sing in that voice, but
You know what? I'll go on the Tay Sunday side here. I'll do it. Fuck it.
thank God, clean sweep.
Wow,
Is this 2 weeks in a row?
Nice job, guys.
Is it?
2
No
weeks
way.
in a row.
No, it is not.
I'm
Holy
pretty
shit.
sure.
I think that is deserving of more breaking news, honestly, because that just doesn't fucking happen.
Because you're always the dumbasses that are on the other side.
I
the obvious
I
wrong
play
answer.
devil's advocate. The whole point of the show.
I feel like me and Zach agree a lot, though.
Yeah, you do. You guys are fucking each other. You're butt buddies, so
Yeah.
you have to do that.
Oh, I'm sorry
Wow.
that we make the most sense in the show.
Yeah, geez, don't be jealous, man.
Here,
Come
watch
on.
this. I'll be devil's advocate. Hey Zach, money actually matters.
Ooh, that's a hot take, dude.
Just like your
Hot,
opinion,
it's
man.
piping. Just like my general aura.
All right, we're gonna move on to our first big topic here. We're gonna talk about how the 4 major sports are expanding to Europe, and I shouldn't say expanding. They are playing games internationally. You have the NFL playing in London and the NHL playing in parts of Europe. This year, it was in where was it at this year? The Flyers played in, and I already forget.
It was in oh my god, shit. Because they played Lausanne or whatever.
Switzerland.
That's right. Yeah, thank you.
Um, we're good at this show, and then
Why I'm
baseball and
forgetting
stuff
already.
like that. So we're just gonna kind of talk about this and go from there. So, how do you guys feel about regular season game? So, like, let's kind of split this up here. Games is one thing, and then regular season games is another. So, how do you feel about games in the regular season, excuse me, being played overseas?
It's weird.
So, well, yeah, it definitely feels weird, but I just want to add in the NFL also plays in Mexico once a year.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. I said England,
But isn't that field
but
always fucking atrocious?
Yeah, do you mean in like Europe and Asia or?
Yeah, so
the
they go to London every year is what they do.
NFL does London and Mexico, and then you have the NHL does the NHL Global Series, which has been in all over Europe. And then the NBA is kind of, I think the NBA is actually in China right now. So it's kind of all the leagues are kind of going to different spots to try to grow the game.
Yeah, and the NBA China thing is not very fun at the moment. So
Yeah.
That's a different topic for a different day.
Yep.
But
Gonna
Brendy said nope.
steer clear of that one.
But
Brendy said no way.
Yeah.
but for the NBA, like the main like they mainly play in China for their international series, but like they've been playing in like Japan, India, all over the globe really.
Gee, what do those nations have in common?
Anyway.
I think college does this too. Like, just so we're gonna really talk overall. I think for me, like regular season games being played overseas is not a good idea in the sense of for a fair competition and scheduling for the whole league. I don't think it's fair. One of the craziest things about the Raiders this year is that they played their first game at home against the Broncos, and then they played week 2 against Kansas City, or it was week 2 against Kansas City at home. Play another game at home until November because they have all these away games, and one of their quote unquote home games is in London, which was last week. I don't really think that's fair. It's kind of crazy that's like that their schedule is like that anyway. But yeah, I don't think in terms of trying to make it fair and even playing field, I don't think it is because just the of everything is I don't know. I just don't like that.
Yeah,
So
I agree with
I
you
don't know.
there.
What
It's
do you guys feel?
if they played like especially the NFL, I feel like just because they only play one game a week, if they played like in Asia or Europe, it would definitely throw off their scheduling, and it's just really inconvenient. And I feel like I remember seeing a rumor that London was trying to get an NFL team, and that would definitely not work.
That's the
Or maybe
goal.
someone.
And you know who's pushing for this? Apparently Robert Kraft.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's
go ahead.
really weird. The whole
There's no
idea.
way they'd be able to make that work just because it's like an 8-hour flight to London. I don't know how far it is if you're on the East Coast.
I guess imagine the flight time.
Yeah, imagine if like the Rams had to play the London team. Like,
yeah, imagine
that'd
the
be terrible.
Rams, the Raiders get moved again to fucking.
Well, sorry. For football, like I don't feel like it would be that big of a deal though, because you literally have a week off.
But
Like I would understand like for basketball or hockey or whatever, but like in the NFL, like it's different because like it's usually like you have all that time for rest.
Well, on the flip side, yeah, I was gonna say on the flip side. Sorry, like the Blackhawks just played the Flyers overseas, and they play the Sharks tonight.
Rocked.
This is gonna be the Sharks' 5th game, and it's gonna be the Blackhawks' 2nd game.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's an unfair advantage for the Sharks because they already have like this kind of. I mean, okay, you can look at it 2 ways. You can look at it as the Sharks have the Sharks still have the advantage because they are already tired, or number two, they're more in rhythm, so they would be better than the Blackhawks. I don't know. It's kind of the way you look at it.
Well, so let's. There's some flaws to what Brendy's saying, and the main thing is that okay, yeah, there's rest, okay, but on the same token, like, so let's use the Rams as an example, right? If you're going from LAX to London, that's an 11-hour flight on any airline, right? So that's most of the time more than what it is to get anywhere else in the United States to play a football game, right? And you gotta imagine that and layover, and you gotta imagine that jet lag is also a thing. Like that, it's a 5-6 hour difference depending on daylight savings between us and London. So then they're gonna have to sleep for like a whole day or two just to adjust to that, and then they're losing practice as well. At least when every game's in the United States, you're only getting a couple hours difference between time zones, and you're still gonna be able to go to practice the next day and get prepared for the next week.
These teams usually arrive early. I just want to say one thing, Bernie. I'll let you talk. These teams usually arrive early to get accustomed to that, but still, I feel like it'd be tough. Like, say it is the Rams, so you're looking at a 6-hour difference. Say the London game is at not so like this week's London game is at 9 a.m. By the way, everybody set your alarms before 9. So their body clock is having them play at 3 in the morning. If you would think, like, if that was the case, you know what I mean? Because it's 6-hour time difference. They're there a couple days early to get accustomed to that. But if they played at 9 a.m., it would be like them playing at 3 a.m. in LA.
Well, they should have time to get accustomed to that, and it's also important to notice that usually those games are usually followed by a bye week as well.
Yes.
So they also have plenty of time to recover. Going back to the States.
But I guess at the moment, my only question is, and like, what is this exactly doing, right? So I mentioned earlier that the whole idea is at some point that there would be a London team, right? But they've been doing this for how many years now?
And I don't know how. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Been doing it since I think 2007.
Jesus. So it's been 12 years, and from my understanding, there's no like any forward progress, no pun intended, in getting a London team there, right? So at this point, what are they doing, right? Because from my understanding, and please correct me if I'm wrong, they sell the stadium out that they play in, right?
Yeah,
like they have the attendance.
Yeah.
So my next question is, do they have the viewers? And what I've read, it's almost a no. Like the television viewers.
What, England or like
in London and in England, yeah. Because that's a part of it, right? It's not just about selling out the stadiums. It's about how many TV viewers can they get each week. And if they can't get television viewers, that are going to generate them enough profit, then why are they still there?
Well, so it should be important to note, Bobby, I'm going to add the NFL has basically confirmed that there's going to be a London franchise by 2025, which seems like you're laughing. I mean, like it's a far way out, but like, so think about like if it turns out to be like an expansion, then like that gives plenty of time for prep, and then if it's a relocation, it's honestly probably going to be Jacksonville.
I can't even imagine
be called the London tea bags.
But honestly though, yeah, hilarious. But the NFL global games, like they have continued to grow though. Like it used to just be one game a season, but now they do at least 4 and just in London.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also add in the Mexico as well, which there's talks about them getting a franchise as well. I think it's kind of funny. Like Mexico, like it's a lot closer, obviously, but like I feel like a franchise in London would actually be better. I feel like people would want to play there more.
Like Mexico makes more sense to me in terms of like the time difference thing or like travel.
Right. That's what I mean.
Would make more sense to me than a London team, but yeah, everything else would point to a London team. Now, I guess it's interesting because what I know. I guess they're trying to grow the game there, and that's one thing they're doing with these London games. But are they trying to grow the game there to put a team there, or are they trying to grow a game there to get viewership there back to the
It's
States? Like
fucking viewership. It's all for
Well,
profit. I mean, the whole point is making money.
well, I do feel like they will eventually, like they are going to put a team there, though.
Yeah,
like
and that's the idea is that they're going to generate enough, generate a bunch of profit for being a football
Right.
team in London and getting a whole nother market that didn't exist before.
right.
But
And
look-
and I don't.
uh,
I was just gonna say I don't really think like TV viewership is really that much of a concern for them because like really the only people that are going to be watching are like fans of the team. So like if they can meet that threshold, then I think they'll be fine.
I don't know about that one. Well, that's most of their numbers, though. It's like they get millions of viewers each week, and that's a lot of their revenue because of all the companies buying for ad space during those times. So,
Well,
why wouldn't they try and get the TV viewership before actually going over there? Because from what I'm looking at, at least for the game last year, the uptick was very minimal from what the typical viewership was.
is that a?
From sportsmediawatch.com, you can.
I was gonna say, is that a product of the game? Like I don't know because it's interesting. Like when teams go over there and play these games, it's usually like the Jaguars, the Raiders. Like I don't know. It's just weird. Like I don't know if it's because of what's being sent over there or what. Like because I feel like when you watch the game, you see the fans like they just kind of cheer for any touchdown that's scored. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they're not actually cheering for a team.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. And look, not for nothing, I'll say that you actually see a lot of if there are London fans, and I know there are, you definitely see them on Reddit and other like NFL forums. Like they're they're talking and they're definitely fans of the game. I mean, it's no question. It's just I guess I'm just confused by what the point is right now. And Brendy's saying, okay, they confirmed a London franchise by 2025. So 20 years of going over there. I would love to see if they think the viewership or the attendance or any of that is up enough to think that they're going to start seeing a lot of profit as a league, right? Because that's the whole point this is happening. If there wasn't going to be any money to be made here, then they wouldn't be doing this. But that's the whole point. It's not about expanding the game as wholesome as we would like it to believe. Yeah, they're expanding the game to make money. That's what
I think if they expanded to Europe, if the NFL expanded to Europe, it would be. I think the scheduling would be the biggest conflict they'd run into just because of the time changes and everything.
Well, would it really though? Like, because that's like one like there's kind of ways around that though. Like you could say like in a 16 game season, you could the first 4 games like let's say like I have the schedule for the London team.
Yeah.
First 4 games, you play the AFC East. That's all on the East Coast. So like that's a long flight, but like that's not too bad. And then once those 4 games are up, you fly back and play home for 4 games or something like that.
Yeah, they'd have to schedule it such that the London team wouldn't have to travel every other week.
But that's
Right.
that's still so much travel.
It would be exhausting. It would be exhausting to travel. I don't know how long the flight is. I'm just going to say 8 hours because that seems right. But 8 hours, like every other week on a flight.
Right. That's
like 2
why
weeks apart,
that's why I think there is a ways around that though. Like just like kind of schedule it like with
right, like 4 home, 4 away
divisions. Yeah.
That's gonna be tough. I mean,
or even 8 home and 8 away, so they can just like live in the States for part of the season.
Right.
But like
and again, you still have to be away from your family. So
well, that's the thing. And then it's like you're going for like, okay, we're gonna play 4 games and we're gonna play the AFC East, right? But then you essentially have to spend all those 4 weeks on the East Coast and essentially be living there during those 4 weeks. So you never even like go back to your practice facility. None of that. Like it's just
true.
weird.
That'd
It's
be
just
tough.
weird. Like I don't know how you would do it. I mean, it obviously can't be like, okay, you're home week 1 and you're away week 2. That's going to be ridiculous. And if it goes on a pattern like
yeah,
that,
it would be. They would have a lot to figure out logistically. There's no way they could. There's no way they could travel that much.
And
honestly,
honestly,
I didn't even think about that. You do have to get back home to practice.
You literally have to make like the first half of the season like away and then give them a bye and then the rest of it to home or something. That's the only thing I could think of.
and honestly, like that's like probably like one of the reasons why like they're waiting like until like this long to get a franchise in there. Like I feel like if there was like enough interest for like a Mexico City team, like it would be they'd be like, okay, like we'll have a team up in 3 years in Mexico City,
Right.
like if there was enough interest, because like that's not really much of an issue.
Right. Yeah.
So we'll have to see.
So here's something that hasn't been brought up yet, and it's something that I was reading about. So apparently, for athletes who play in the UK who aren't residents of the UK, they get taxed to hell. Apparently, from what I was reading, and I was reading on Bleacher Report. So let me find the number. So they were saying that wide receiver Justin Blackman, is that his name? Earns $8 million of base salary in 2015 when the Jaguars are permanently based in London. $5 million of the income is poured to the UK and is taxed at 50%, resulting in a tax bill of $2.5 million. On his US Form 1040, assume Blackman pays tax at 30% on the full $8 million of income, resulting in a tax bill of $2.4 million. Even though Blackman has paid $2.5 million of tax to the UK, his foreign tax credit is limited to the $5 million of UK income multiplied by his US tax rate of 30%, or $1.5 million. And as a result, Blackman pays tax of $900,000 to the US and $2.5 million to the UK on $8 million of income, an effective rate of approximately 42.5% of his income. So, and that's apparently what the NFLPA is trying to figure out. Is there like a tax break that the UK government will give? Well, it wouldn't even be the UK anymore, but it would be whoever the fuck, it would be England, I guess, at this point. But it's like, I don't know. I don't know all the numbers. This is something that they're citing on Bleacher Report that NFLPA is struggling to figure out how to solve this with the NFL before they put in their franchise.
I mean, I think money-wise, like, there's a lot of logistics that need to be sorted out there. I don't know if this is going to be dumb for me to say this, but, like, there's obvious, we're dealing with different forms of currency, and I don't know, like, I guess, like, the salary cap, like, I don't know how that would work. Like,
They
would
would
they...
they would probably go by like an official exchange rate that they use in the NFL.
Would the
And
salary
one
cap be
US
different?
dollar is worth 0.8 pound in the UK.
But,
Right, so
like,
they'd have to they would just I bet the NFL would just go like use an exchange rate that they go by, or
Yeah.
but like, would that be putting that team at a disadvantage? You know what I mean?
I
Like,
mean,
I don't know.
you're seeing a lot of players, the whole holding out jokes and talk that's been happening lately is all because of the amount of money being paid. And now you're saying, well, we're opening a London franchise and you're going to get slashed to hell with taxes with the money that we're going to pay you now. Like, I don't think
And
a
we're
lot
not
of players
gonna
are going to be happy with that.
much because of the rate. I feel I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't know. It's tough to see. I guess there would be ways around it, but the other thing I look at is I I, I don't know the whole story, so let me just say that. But I seen something on Twitter that had said that the NBA is looking like next year the salary cap is going to be significantly lower because of what's happening with the U.S. and China, and it's like I feel like you're going to be dealing with two different governments and stuff like that. Like, it could get messy. Um, I mean, that could just be me talking bullshit, but
Well,
like,
I mean, the
there's,
US and the UK are a little bit on better standing than the US and China
I mean,
currently, so
sure, but anything could happen.
sure.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Like, I don't
yeah.
know.
I mean, they're the least likely to cause us problems, honestly. I mean, sure, the political moves give me it all the time, but they're not going to be, chucking bombs at us anytime soon. So,
Would hope not. Like, you're just looking at a lot of different. All I'm saying is, if this was to be a real thing, there needs to be like a lot of like financial things that need to be sorted out that people might not necessarily think about right away. It's like, oh yeah, let's expand the game, but look, I mean, there's a lot of. It's not just as easy as that. Like, there's a lot of issues that you're dealing with, and financially and time wise and scheduling. Like, there's a lot. Now that's for the NFL. Now let's look at like a sport like the NHL, where you're not having off or a week off between your games, or the NBA, for example. Do you guys ever see a way that could work with like an international team?
Look how long it took for the Flyers and Blackhawks to get adjusted. I mean, Flyers and Blackhawks both just had their second games, like getting all adjusted. I mean, look, it's a cool experience, right? I mean, an NHL team, plays against a minor league team from another country. I don't want to lose to them anymore, but
That's bad.
but I mean, it looks like a cool experience, right? I mean, everything looks cool, but yeah, if it's causing these huge rifts between like the amount of games played off the first couple of fucking weeks, I don't even think it's worth it at that point. And the NHL is like the NFL expansion kind of makes sense because the NFL has been purely American for essentially ever, right? The NHL, it's funny that it feels it's expanding the sport into other countries because hockey is big everywhere else but the United States a lot of the time. So it's just funny to see it that way. Like it's very popular in Russia, Switzerland. You know what I mean? Like it's just kind of a weird thing. And
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like it's not even
that
worth it half the time.
that football is definitely like the most isolated to the U.S. I mean, there. Don't get me wrong, like there's coverage and stuff like that, but hockey, you have the football, you have it's just in the U.S. essentially, like your huge big pro leagues. But in hockey, you have pro leagues all over. In basketball, you have pro leagues all over.
Where's
In
Yager playing
baseball,
these days?
finally retired, but don't quote me on that.
No, he's playing.
But I can't even remember at this point. But there's all these things, and like American football has been so isolated to us that to the U.S. rather, that it's just would be different, I guess. I don't know how I could see it. Like it would have to be like one of those things where there's just a block of games. Like the team would have to play like a block of games in the U.S. But if let's be real, if you're looking at expansion for NHL, you ain't looking to expand to Mexico. You're looking to expand to Finland or Germany or Sweden, like one of those countries.
Companies, yeah. Battle of the companies.
That's how the NHL views them.
Yep.
So,
Fuck you, Batman.
it's a lot different than taking a few hour flight to Mexico. Like that's the whole thing. Like the travel is big, and I think talked about in sports. Don't get me wrong, but I really do think it does take a toll more than people actually think with sports. When if you have to fly from, let's just say in the NFL again, or not. Actually, let's not say in the NFL because they have weeks. Let's say like the NHL, you have a game in. You're the Calgary Flames. You have a game in Florida, then that goes to Nashville, go up to like Chicago, and then like that's a lot of time away, and it's the same thing um, with them is like you're not home. It's probably tough on them, like not being able to see their families. Now you're talking about that just like in a bigger way. Like they would have to do blocks of games. Like the international team might have to play like in the United States, and that's a month of time. Like it's a lot of time away. I don't think I could really ever see it working. I like that, like those excuse me, like the NBA and the NBA, NHL, and MLB are trying to expand, but I don't think in terms of expand in terms of popularity. But I don't think you could actually do it. Teams over there, I don't think it would work. But yeah, Bobby's getting some background noise.
Yeah,
and he's not happy about it. So yeah, that's kind of where I am on that. I don't know.
Sorry, guys.
Fine. It'll work. Is there? I guess is there any other like problems or maybe positives that you could see for this? For like any of these, because I feel like a lot of people do boil it down to it's scheduling and finances and stuff like that. But is there more?
So I will say for the NFL, like it's probably like the most likely and like the easiest, and like honestly, it's probably going to happen like sometime within the next 10 years, I would imagine. And whether or not it succeeds, we'll find out. With the NBA and the NHL, though, like I feel like it wouldn't happen unless like there was like, and keep in mind like I genuinely like just do not think this will happen, but like I feel like in the NBA or in the NHL it wouldn't happen unless there was like an entire like division created over there, or
Well,
like
so sorry to cut you off, but this is what my thinking brought me to. Would you ever see a case of what is done in soccer where maybe there's like a quote unquote Champions League for like hockey or something? So you have your teams from Germany and Switzerland and Sweden and all that, and like kind of have a Champions League. I feel
well
like I don't know. I feel like competition wise, that wouldn't be great. Like if you think about it like
well
as a base,
well
but
that's not a bad idea, but the thing is like that's up to like the governing body of hockey at that point, not necessarily the NHL, you know.
right,
And
correct,
so
yeah,
it's same thing with all the other sports.
right,
Um, but yeah, so like I'm just talking about like you know domestic clubs specifically, or not even domestic because it'd be international at that point. Um, but yeah, so like for NBA and NHL, like maybe if there is like an entire like division created over there, then we'll see.
yeah.
And in terms of baseball, like I don't think baseball would work overseas, but it might work in like I think baseball has to start getting some teams back up in Canada.
I agree.
Like bring the
I
Expos back, put a team in Vancouver,
Fuck.
and we'll see how it goes from there.
think, I mean, could you see the MLB expanding to like Central America? Because I could see that.
Yeah, honestly I could see the MLB expanding to South America before I see them expanding to Europe because like baseball is huge in the Western Hemisphere. And I say huge, but like I mean like it's more like it's a Western Hemisphere sport. Is what I'm trying to
Right.
say.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
Well, I was gonna say because like when we're talking about like, I feel like for baseball when we're talking about like expansion, like I'm thinking like you're like Japan and stuff like that because it's so big
right,
over there. But
right, and like baseball, like so like the a London team for the NFL would be like a Japanese team to MLB in a way.
yeah, I do think it makes sense more for the MLB to expand. I mean, Canada for sure first. Like I agree. I would love to see the Expos back, and then
Yeah, we need a team to beat, in the East every year.
and then you're looking at bigger cities like your Vancouver's, Edmonton, Calgary's, cities like that to do that. I mean, even Winnipeg with having a baseball team or something. But looking at more of the southern, your Central American, Southern America, I could definitely see that happening. Um, I think that would be more likely than trying to like expand to Japan or something. But like all of this just gets so complicated, and then like what does that do if a sport was to expand overseas, what does that do for players in the draft? Like would players not want to sign for these teams? And like I feel like that kind of stuff would be really interesting. Like
Right.
imagine like a kid
I
coming out of like Texas, then I got some player like London, like in London, like I don't know if you'd like that.
Yeah, congrats, kid. You're going to Tokyo. Like, no, yeah, like completely aside from the whole jet lag thing. That's another thing that I actually crossed my mind was what Tyler was saying about kids just not wanting to go to these faraway teams.
Well,
That would definitely be something I feel like they'd run into.
I mean, but you still see that with like with teams today though. It's like you have players getting drafted that like literally don't want to play for the team and like they're still in America. So like it's gonna happen
Well, I get
regardless though.
that, but I feel like that's a lot of times because the team's bad.
See, I think it's either the team's bad or aren't they don't think they're getting an initial contract that's good enough. But I just think there'd be more incentive. Like I don't know, maybe kids will like going to play overseas, but like if you're talking about okay, well you know what, you're gonna get taxed really heavily, and you're actually not gonna get as much money as if you played for Washington, the Redskins, then that might be a problem.
I would be surprised though, like if they didn't have some sort of tax incentive for that though. Like that, I feel like they would certainly have some sort of way around that, though.
That's what I was saying, like, with the finances, like, there's gotta be a lot of things that are put into place to, like, kinda give incentives or, like, to make everything fair for, like, the international teams and the American teams, like, it should be an even playing field because that's what we're trying to achieve here. There should not be an unfair advantage to anybody, and I think that is hard, and and there in so many aspects, and you have to kind of you have to kind of, see what needs to be done. And let me tell you, I'm not smart enough to think of all the things, and there's people way smarter than me that can figure that out. But that is something that they're gonna have to discuss um, for an expansion like that. I mean, I'm assuming you guys are okay with like preseason games being played overseas. I mean, because really, that's
Yeah, I mean,
affecting.
I don't see why not.
Yeah,
If it's not affecting the regular season, I mean, that's more of like an expanding the game kind of thing, which is always good.
right. And if
Um,
I bet they'll continue to do more and more of that if they're considering having a London team.
so we're saying the NHL last year was had a game. It was it was a preseason game played in China, and that was the first time that had. And obviously, we want to reach as many people as possible. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's a really tough thing, and Brendy brought up the thing about like kind of divisions within countries. Um, like I think that could be something there with that. But then again, is that more of like like kind of works like a Champions League thing, or like it'd be tough because obviously you have the best players in the world are um, playing in. It's really tough for me to see that otherwise, but kind of have to see engage that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else we really missed on that, or if we can
I think we hit all the pins.
move on. So I will pass it over to Brendy for in case you missed it.
Oh god, I wasn't ready for the quick transition.
Wow,
I
come
wasn't even
on.
remotely close. I'm sorry.
All right, boys. So this week's, in case you missed it, is very animal themed. So sit back, relax, and
fucking scared.
Yep. So my first story is actually kind of a little frightening in a way. So as you like in Red Dead Redemption 2, one of my favorite things to do is to hunt animals.
Mm.
Load them up on my horse, sell them and get some money or get some materials, whatever I need. Well, I just want to say there is some sort of strange virus going around right now with deer and moose that is causing them to be very zombie-like. So
Holy
what
shit,
exactly
it's a bath salts thing all over again.
So what exactly do I mean? Well, there's a contagious terminal disease that's been compared to the mad cow disease, except it's mainly affecting deer. And Bobby, I want you to pull up that first picture I sent you and go ahead and post it in the podcast chat for everyone to see as well.
God, I don't. I'm so fucking scared.
Because that's a picture of a mad deer.
Holy shit! What? Wait, what the fuck?
I'm not even kidding. It's a mad deer.
This thing is.
Here, I'll post it real quick.
Yeah, this thing is fucking gross, dude.
There you go, mad deer.
Holy fucking.
Take a look, gentlemen.
Bro, come on, like that's like. It doesn't look that bad.
Well, okay, so deer that are affected by the disease become lethargic and extremely weak, and this is according to Sky. So honestly, it kind of sounds like the setup for a low-budget horror film. So regulators are. This is what the article says. It's from Sky News. Regulators are working overtime to stop the afflicted animals from reaching Nevada, worried that the chronic wasting disease that gives them their name could make them a danger to humans. The highly contagious terminal disease has been compared to mad cow disease in cattle, but also neutralizes their usual fear of people.
Is this from the Onion?
No, this is a real story confirmed.
Okay.
I actually found this story elsewhere just to be sure.
Okay.
So it is also spreading to moose though, which is kind of funny. So that's the second picture I sent you. I'll go ahead and post it. The deer looks completely fine.
Yeah.
That's the mad moose right
The
there.
Mad Moose.
Mad Moose.
Yeah. Like that deer looks like literally looks like, oh shit, help, I'm sick, and that moose is like, dude, chill, it's just a fever.
It's just a fever. You're
Yeah.
a fucker. Oh my god.
So how exactly is it transmitted? So it's transmitted by protein particles that cause irreparable damage to the brain tissue and has potential to wipe out entire populations of deer, moose, and elk. So it is believed by the CDC that it could be a risk to humans just because of the protein particles. And it's been linked to a similar disease known as Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. And it can take up to 16 months before you start showing symptoms.
Okay.
So if any of you guys have been to Nevada in the past 16 months, I recommend you get checked for mad deer disease.
What the fuck, bro?
Don't go to Nevada, heard.
Do you understand what's in Nevada, sir?
Brothels and legal pot.
Besides the legal pot.
Zach's favorite.
What do you go to Nevada for? You literally don't go to Nevada. You only go to Nevada for one thing.
Losing money.
To
One
get
thing.
mad
There you
deer
go.
disease.
There you go. To catch a night's game and gamble.
Am I catching on here?
Yeah, I think so. I think you're close. You're so fucking close. I could smell it. Smell the mad cow disease from here.
But yeah, I mean, like, it's not exactly something that like we should be worrying about, but it's like damn, there might be some crazy animal out in the wild like trying to, well, it's not really like zombie like, but it's more mad cow like. They just called it a zombie like disease, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's just like, it's really crazy to kind of like, or not crazy, but like it's just kind of weird to think like I keep looking at that face of the deer and just like imagining seeing one.
Turn off the graphics by accident.
Imagine
My
the
bad.
sound that deer is probably making. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm like, geez, man, look at it. He's got black eyes, probably possessed.
Imagine you're camping out in the woods and you see this retarded looking deer making a weird sound. It's probably got mad deer disease.
So
deer
what do you
disease.
do? Do you run? Do you hold your ground?
Yeah,
What do you
like what do you genuinely do? Because like honestly, it's probably not a threat to you. Like
Those antlers
unless,
say otherwise, bud.
well, it's. I mean, deers aren't necessarily known for like aiming at you with antlers, you know.
You obviously haven't seen one try and cross a road. That thing is frantic as fuck.
Oh, I have. Trust me, I live in the South, buddy. But yeah, so I don't know. I feel like if I see one, I would probably just like try to like throw something at it, like to scare it away, like a brick or something. I don't even know.
Yeah, like a brick. Oh, there's gonna be a brick just laying next to you in the middle
Yeah,
of the
you
woods.
know.
That's what's gonna happen.
I always carry a brick with you when you're going camping.
The fuck? You have some weird camping habits. I gotta say.
Oh, I've been camping like maybe twice in my life.
Bob, you
so-
don't carry a
Same.
brick with you when you go camping?
But no, I don't
Yeah, I
carry a
carry a
brick. I
brick with me
carry
to
a
work.
gun.
You don't have your camping brick?
Yeah.
God.
Do I sleep with it at night? Like, what do you do with a camping brick? Please
You
describe
cuddle
this to me.
up with it like a teddy
You
bear.
take it camping, duh, it's right in the name, bro.
Yeah, I know, but like, you bring a camping brick. Do you sleep with it? Do you just throw it? What do you do? If one were to bring
It's
a
for
camping brick.
emergencies.
For emergencies. Okay, so just
Yeah.
you'll know what to do when the emergency comes. What to do with
Right.
this
You're like,
brick?
thank God I got this brick.
Okay,
Like, yeah, I really showed Bobby when I told him I'll
I can't wait
always bring a
till
brick with you.
the news article that says local resident kills moose with brick, and I'm gonna immediately think Zach.
The reporter's gonna come up to me, and I was like, "Man, I was just really glad I had my camping brick with me."
Well, Zig Butterstick, thanks for your time. Yep, thanks. This is fuck on.
Yeah, so I just want you guys to be aware of this, growing, like bigger than like swine flu disease going out there. So just keep it in mind.
Real quick, I want to
Not
interject.
fear mongering.
Go ahead. What were you saying?
I need to apologize because Discord is fucking me harder than NHL fucks us right now.
Ooh,
but
hot take.
Oof. Yeah, that's
my
that's a
mic's
piper.
not working, and I can't get the pictures of what you sent. So I'm gonna take your word for it because I've seen pictures of deers where like the brain is literally coming out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna assume
it's
Oh,
not
it's even
bad.
worse. It's even
It's
worse.
just
so
a
bad.
derpy looking deer.
Yeah,
that's
it's a derpy deer and a moose.
and a normal looking moose.
I am sorry. I don't know if it's better, but this is getting ridiculous. Discord has been screwing me all day. Anyway, go ahead.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and move on from that story because I know you guys are shaking. And
These were both
fear
from
right
Sky
now.
News. I have questions.
All right. So, why do you have questions?
Don't just go.
Okay. So, speaking of animals, the big international fat bear contest has been announced, and
yes,
or not announced, but the
Wait
winner has
all
been
year.
announced. Yeah, I know this is something that you guys have been looking forward to every year. So there's "Long Live the Queen of Corpulence" is the name of the bear. Oh no, sorry, that's the name of the contest. "Long Live the Queen of Corpulence" is the name of the fat bear contest. And a bear named Holly. I sent you a picture, Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
This is the picture of the
Yeah, I've
winning
seen
bear,
this.
fat
I've
bear.
seen this. That's a big fucking bear. I do gotta say.
Can't see it. Thank you, Discord.
Now this bear has been compared to the Michelin Man.
The Michelin Man.
The
Really?
Michelin Man. Yep.
Ty, I'm putting in the
That
chat
bear.
the link.
So the contest featured 12 brown bears who had grown in size after gorging on salmon as they prepare to hibernate during the winter month. Oh.
What the
Okay.
fuck?
Keep talking, guys. Go ahead.
Okay, so
Okay.
let's talk about this bear.
I finally pulled it up. That is a beautiful looking bear. By the way, I'm just gonna pass over Brendy saying salmon. That's not how you say it. It's-
Did he really say salmon? I didn't even hear that.
Okay, I
Yeah.
apologize for the interruption. So
Please step
sorry.
either way.
Let me guess. That was your pizza.
No, that was my girlfriend.
Same
She
thing.
delivers pizzas. Wait.
No, she was on the phone with someone. So let me finish this really quick.
Yes,
So
sir.
the contest featured 12 brown bears. And it's not a small contest because that winning bear got 187,000 votes.
What?
So
Who the fuck
it's
is
not
voting on this?
it's not exactly like some small like village contest. It's like some national contest
This
that
is
I've
like-
apparently never heard of.
This is like the boat that they were trying to name, whatever that was. Whatever
Boat
had a
face.
new boat. Yeah, they had a new boat, and the fucking name that won was Bodie McBoatface. Like it got spammed by thousands of people. It's hilarious.
Right. And keep in mind too, like it's not a contest just based on like what bear weighs the most. It's also like the fattest and the healthiest bear. Like the bear most likely to survive hibernation.
Right.
So and this is the one that won. I don't know how like random determined that. But
Hey, Bear,
fun
could you
fact,
step right over
bear-
here for me?
fun fact, bears typically lose a third of their body weight during hibernation.
Is it really that much? My God.
Yeah, and here's I'm gonna show you another picture of what a bear kind of looks like directly after hibernation. I'll just post that in the chat for you guys to see.
Wow.
Hibernation sounds like a good idea to me. I get to sleep for a long ass time and then lose weight.
Can you
I
imagine
like sound of it.
Can you imagine the world sleeping for X amount of months and then just waking back up and everybody's just like scrawny as hell?
God, I love sleep. I could sleep. I think I
sleep.
could do a hibernation.
Can't stand sleep. Let's
You,
debate on sleep for a while.
Do bears
And-
poop during hibernation?
He's asking the right questions.
And it should be noted that the number of votes during this year's contest was 3 times that of the 2018 contest.
What the fuck?
So people came out to witness this
they
contest.
came to the polls, man.
Yeah.
Screw the general election.
Every vote matters.
4chan came for it. I bet you was what happened. Honestly, let's be
Screw the
fucking honest
2020
here.
presidential election.
Did
We
they
gotta
get-
vote on these Bears, man.
Did they get an I voted sticker when they walked out of those polls? Let's be honest. This is a fucking white sticker. I voted. Yay, guys! I voted for the fattest bear. Good for you, buddy.
Well, look, I have nightmares with bears on Red Dead, and like I don't know if I would vote in this contest. Like I am frightened of bears in Red Dead. Like I don't know what
Are
it
you
is.
frightened of bears in real life or no?
I've never met a bear in real life.
I don't think you want to.
I'd imagine they're not as cuddly as a teddy bear.
We're
So
on this mission on Red Dead where like we have to take this bounty to this like, and like there was this bear that was like in a house somehow, and then it starts charging us as we're running by, and just everybody just or Brendy just yelling, "Bear!"
Dude, it freaked me the hell out. Like, why is there a bear? Like it was on like the door. It was at the doorstep.
Yeah, it was like literally in the house, and then but yeah, Brendy's a little scared of those bears. Too big.
Hey, Zach, is there something you want to say?
Bears lives matter.
Thank you. Zach literally typed in our chat here saying he's a millisecond away from saying it, and I told him to do it, and then he just didn't say it. So,
all right, well, that's all I got for you boys. Ty.
All right. Well, if my mic actually picks up what I'm saying, we're gonna get on to college football versus the NFL. Which one is better? So I guess I'll start off for me personally. Up until this podcast actually really got me into college football. Up until the preview show we did for college football last year, minimally, like I watched the really big games and that was it. And now I'm watching literally every game I possibly can. I know Brendy is a huge college football fan, and Bobby very casual. And what the fuck are you laughing at?
Do it.
Yeah, I still can't see the picture. So I don't know what's on.
The one time Tyler's mic is actually working, you're having a fucking laughing fit.
It's Palpatine.
I can't even look at the picture to like laugh back because I can't see.
It's a picture of Palpatine. It's the do it scene.
Yeah,
Do it.
it's literally nothing that would make you laugh. It just I wasn't expecting it in the chat. Just a picture of fucking Palpatine. So just looked up and there he is. Fucking hell.
All right. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
Continue on, Tyler.
go.
So yeah, we're gonna discuss that today and see where we stand on that. And then for the NFL, we're all pretty big.
There you go, stream.
Or well, the three of us.
There's
and
Palpatine.
Zach casually. Would you shut the fuck up when I'm talking? Like Jesus Christ. Anyway, Brendy here. Brendy.
Brendy here.
What? Yeah. What are your thoughts on the versus topic? I know you're a pretty out of all of us, you might be the biggest college football fan. So, what are your feelings?
So compared to the NFL, college football wins easily, and it's not even. So, and that mainly just might just have to do with the fact that I'm kind of like disenfranchised from the Falcons right now. Like if the Falcons were good, like it'd probably be closer, but college football would probably still take the cake for me. So Zach will probably tell you this, like a few years ago, like maybe like 6 or 7 years ago, I used to hate college football because I thought it was like, always really predictable. It was, I thought every game was just like a blowout for, if it was like a ranked versus unranked, it would like always be a blowout. But the thing is like, I realized first of all, the games that were being blowouts were typically like the beginning of the season, like where you go against like FCS teams or like
when Alabama's playing the Citadel.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, like if those are the games you're watching, then like you're not going to enjoy it because it's obviously going to be a blowout. But then it's but then you have games that it's like Georgia versus Notre Dame, and like games like that, it's like. To be quite honest, one of the reasons why I like college football so much is because I feel like turnovers happen a lot more, and I feel like
I totally agree with that.
yeah, and I feel like that kind of I kind of like the impact that turnovers have. Like I don't like my team turning over the ball a whole bunch, but like it's kind of like if I'm watching a neutral game, like I said, like Georgia versus Notre Dame, then for me it's like yeah, I want to see each team turn the ball over 5 times or something because like I that's kind of entertaining to me because anything could happen and most games like in conference like any team could win like even if it's like you know Kentucky versus Georgia or something. Um, and at the end of the day, I just tend to find college football a lot more interesting, and there are some like really interesting matchups that like very rarely happen. Like I would love to see like an Alabama versus the Michigan matchup or something.
I mean,
Um,
the only way we're really getting that, like, this is probably something we'll talk about in the future, the college football playoff. Like, I would love to see that expanded to get matchups like that. But like, that's really the only way you're doing it, unless it's the first 3 weeks of the season. But nobody wants to do that because they're scared they're gonna lose, and whatever. Like, Alabama's never gonna play like Ohio State in week 1. Like, that'll probably never happen
that would
because
be dope
they
though.
ain't trying to. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would love it. Like if
And
college football was that all the time, oh my god.
and it should be noted, Alabama actually did play Ohio State in the first year of the college football playoff.
Yeah. And Ohio State actually won that.
Yeah.
No, I actually completely
Fuck
agree with
Ohio
you about
State.
I completely agree with you about the whole turnover thing. I kind of transition that into like just mistakes in general happen so much more in college football, and it makes it more enjoyable if it's not your team because it's more unpredictable. It's more so like I mean I was gonna say like the kickers are worse. Like you can't like
Yeah.
most guys aren't gonna be hitting like 55-yard field goals like they do in the NFL. Although the NFL kickers are struggling as well. But either way, there's just a lot more unpredictability. I used to hate college football too, Brendy, and I think I may have said this before because when I would watch college football, I must have been watching like Georgia Tech or some shit because all I remember was like read option after read option after option, all these option plays, and I
Yep.
hated that. Like it drove me
About to
insane.
say you're either watching like Army or Georgia Tech. So.
I actually one of the first games I watched I remember was Georgia Tech versus UCF
Ugh, what are you doing?
I'm sorry, USF. Sorry. So
Oh yeah,
it's
I
like one
feel
of the
that.
first games I remember watching, and it was just like Jesus Christ, like throw the ball. I felt like I was watching a high school game. So that was why I hate it. But now I appreciate that because I do. It was frustrating. So like when Michigan played Army this year, it was very frustrating because it's like, dude, these guys are running options. Like they're gonna run it. Just fucking send 9 guys, whatever.
Right, and I
But it's not like
sorry,
that.
I just want to explain like what the option is. So like a lot of times, option is short for triple option, which is basically basically means that the quarterback can either decide to hand it off to the running back, run out to the outside and run the ball himself, or pitch it to a guy behind him, depending on the situation. And it is most often used in high school sports, but like a couple college teams, like Georgia Tech, has been noted for doing it, but also like Army and Navy do it a lot. It looks like a terrible, terrible setup when it doesn't work, but it looks beautiful when it works.
Right.
And
Yeah, for sure.
and you could probably agree with me, like just watching that game.
So like I said, it was very frustrating, but I appreciate the option plays now because it's a lot of creativity and there's a lot of you see that and you might add like a reverse in with that and maybe a double reverse. Like there's a lot of things you can do with it and I kind of appreciate it. Don't get me wrong, I love seeing passing plays and this and that, but there is that appreciation for that which I didn't have a while ago. um and just with college, as Brendy said, like when there's like a big, there's nothing like a big matchup in college football for me. Like when you have, your Alabama Georgias, or like there's a lot of good games this week. Like I think I forget, LSU I think plays Texas, I want to say, or something like that, and like it's two like top 10 teams. Like I feel like there's two things in college football I love, like when two top teams play each other and it's a great game, and then like when you get like an unranked that comes in and upsets a ranked. There's like nothing like it, especially if it's at the home of the unranked, because the stadium just goes crazy. And that's another reason why I love college football, because the atmosphere is miles better than anything in the NFL. I think that's something. I mean, we could probably all agree on. The atmosphere of college football and college sports in general is something that I don't know if it's matched in any sport. It's absolutely insane. And you see, like when the teams come out, like they have like a lot of them have signature songs they come out to and do signature things. It's awesome.
And I want to hand it off to Bobby in a second, but I just wanted to say, like, college football down here in the South is almost like a religion, because
say,
like
yeah,
it is definitely bigger than the NFL here. Like even if the Falcons went 16-0, like college football would still be king. And like that, and because like especially in Georgia, there's like a huge mix of like fan bases. Because think about all the good college teams that are around us.
Let me tell you, dude, going to church as a kid, like
no, already tell where this
if
is
like how that was
Georgia
funny
won
already.
or lost, like that would make or break the service.
I
wish I was exaggerating.
So okay, so like going to church, like what would you hope for? Would you hope for like the teams winning or losing?
Dude, I'd hope they'd lose.
Just make
Be a nice chill
terrible
church service. No one talks. Awesome.
Yeah, it's something that
awesome.
So like I could definitely tell. Like I was down there, Georgia, in February and March, where obviously not college football season, but even then I could tell that it was big there, and that was at that time. Like I want to be down there in October, November, whatever, and watch, and like just the atmosphere is crazy. I feel like would be insane. And especially where Brendy lives. I mean, I know like you're obviously in the state of Georgia, so you got University of Georgia, you got Alabama, Auburn, like all those teams right there. I think that it's kind of it's crazy.
You guys have like hockey bars in Jersey?
We have it's just regular sports bars. Like if you go into a sports bar,
Yeah.
what's going to be on is like NBA or like so like if the NFL is on, it's definitely an NFL. If it might be NBA and then probably hockey. Yeah. Like college football, unless it's like Alabama playing Georgia, it's probably not going to be on here. Or
Right.
like if it's a really really big matchup, I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I think that for the South, it's completely
All
different.
I'm saying is that you've never experienced a grown man barking like a dog in public.
Yeah, I
and
could
it being
find
absolutely okay for some reason.
Yep.
and like and I said that about like with Brendy and Zach too, with being around those teams, and like for us, it's like Temple, Villanova, but Villanova's their basketball team, or they have a basketball team, but like
their football team's FCS.
I was gonna say, so like it's not like that. So it's a lot
kind
different.
of funny to think of though.
But I still have a big appreciation. I will go to Bobby now, who I'm gonna assume is on the other side, but I'm not sure. But I'll hand it over to you, and you can give your thoughts.
I'm kind of stuck in the middle at the moment, and I'll explain why. So Brendy brought up originally that he would say that NFL is better if Atlanta was any better. Well, let's remember who I'm a fan of.
No, sorry, I want to reiterate that.
Okay.
I was saying like it would probably be closer, but I would still.
Well, yeah. Regardless, though, right? I mean, it still helps, right?
Right.
Remembering who I'm a fan of, right? It's because my main point of the college versus NFL argument is always that a lot of the games don't essentially matter, right? I mean, so I'm a Michigan fan alongside Tyler here. Michigan's in a weird state of affairs currently with how they want to be. They want to show up sometimes, and they just want to shit the bed whenever any ranked team stomps into the big house. So it's become a lot less fun to watch them recently. However, the Patriots are just red fucking hot like they usually are. So it's been a lot of fun watching them. However, I will say to what Tyler said before, there is nothing more fucking hype and just addicting than a college football atmosphere and a college football crowd. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. Like, just how nutty the stadiums get during a game. I think one of the most hype things I see is it Virginia Tech or that comes out to Enter Sandman?
Yeah, Virginia Tech.
That shit is lit as fuck, dude. Like I get goosebumps watching that intro every fucking time. I will sometimes like look it up just because I need like an extra energy boost for the day. I don't even root for that fucking team, but that intro is awesome. Like it's amazing, dude.
I've been on, or I'll sometimes go to this on this YouTube binge of like watching like best college intros or best college fan reactions, and like it's just like the the Auburn play.
Oh my
Auburn's gonna win the football game,
dude.
like,
that is one of the best
crowd,
calls of all time. That's one of the best calls of all
the,
time. It's not even close.
Like, look, if it was an NFL game that happened, yeah, the crowd would be crazy too. But like, I mean, obviously, it's a lot of young people at college games with, it's their school. It's a big pride thing. I think it might be more pride than with your NFL team in some cases because you feel like you're more a part of it, and it's just like it's insane. And there's things about college football that I would like to change. Don't get me wrong, but for the most part, I mean, college football it's awesome, and I mean, it's great. Also, my setup this year for watching college football, like, because usually Michigan plays at 12 o'clock game, so at 12 o'clock, put the Michigan game on my TV. Then I have my laptop and I open 4 browsers and go quad box with 4 other games, and I'll do that from 12 until like maybe I'll do that and get on Xbox with Brendy or something. But sometimes I go to like 1 o'clock in the morning watching like the late Pac-12 games, and I'm got like some of the games are just ridiculous. There was a game, I think it was 2 weeks ago. It was the greatest football game I've ever seen. It was Washington State versus UCLA, and
a matchup you would not
UCLA
expect to be great, by the way.
Washington State is ranked, and UCLA has been struggling. Like it's not been great for them. And I think it was 2 minutes left in the third quarter. LA was down by 32, and they ended up coming back and tying it. And I think it went to overtime. The game might have ended before it went to overtime. Either way, the final score was like 68-63 or something.
How long ago was this?
I think it was 2 weeks ago. And the Washington State quarterback had 9 touchdowns. Like it was absolute pandemonium. And that with the NFL, but like with all the mistakes that were being made and stuff like that, it just amplifies how big, certain plays are. This question last year, I probably would have said NFL, but I am definitely college football now. I love it, and there's I know we have this debate about should college athletes be getting paid. Well, at the current state we are right now, they're not, and these NFL guys are getting paid. And I think there might be something to be said about, you have like walk-ons that want to make a difference, and you have guys that are looking to get to the next level, so they might step up their game in certain spots. It's just I feel like every play in college football is very in these big games, and yeah, man, it's fun to watch from afternoon till late at night. So I think for me, and let me say on the flip side, NFL, like I love the NFL still. I mean, I was kind of telling the guys that I've been a huge hockey fan my whole life. I mean, hockey is my sport, And this year, I'll be honest, I could really care less. Like I'm sure at some point I'll get into it, but my routine, if you will, with my week is, from your weekdays, you kind of go through, all this stuff, and then for me, the weekend, it's college football all day Saturday and football all day Sunday. Like the weekend has been like my just I don't know how to put it, but
Your chill
saving grace.
day.
Yeah, exactly, and it's just awesome. And there's nothing wrong with NFL. It's awesome, but just college football is something else.
Right.
College
But
football doing
but
you
yeah,
dirty out there.
Bobby, did you have something to say before?
No, I
By
was gonna say like, what's funny about something you said is that you guys enjoyed that there was more mistakes and turnovers, and I just think it's funny because the whole reason we're supposed to watch sports in the first place is because that's like the top level of the game, and here we are watching some of the worst turnovers and fumbles that you've ever
Yeah.
fucking seen in your life.
Exactly.
I just think it's funny.
And I'm not gonna like want to watch a game that has 17 turnovers. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
like if a guy might overthrow a guy more, like you might see a lot more overthrows on deep balls than you would in the NFL, and
Yeah.
it just adds to that drama.
Mhm.
And it's great. I know we brought it up on the show before, at least I have. Like I want a video game for college sports so bad. You have no idea. I would play that shit all the time. Like it's because it's so fun. And the other thing about college football too, like the kind of more off not season stuff, like National Signing Day is always very interesting. And throughout the season you have, and it's keeping up with that, like, oh, you know, who's gonna get this guy, because I feel like for like the top prospects, you kind of have an idea like they're gonna go to a good team, right? But like I feel like it's more narrowed down. There's not as much suspense. Like with college, it's like, oh man, this guy could go to Georgia or Alabama. Like I don't know, maybe even like Florida. Like, hey, how about Texas? Like I don't know. It just seems like more everything in college to me just seems more interesting. It's more unpredictable, I'll say. In college, all around, it's more unpredictable. Um, and that's what kind of makes it for me. But yeah, there's nothing like this happens in NFL now, but like a guy missing like a 29-yard field goal to lose the game, like that's going to happen a lot more times in college than it does in the NFL.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's just been I have Brendy to thank for this, by the way, because it was really last year when we were doing the show, kind of really got into this, and like college football, like is crazy now. Like I said, I'd love to be down in like Georgia when this shit's happening, because although although I don't know about the barking men, but
Yeah, the barking men.
Yeah, that one's tough, my man.
No, I will say, like it's like it is such a way of life down here. Like if you cannot go to the game, go to a sports bar. You're at the game. Like I'm not even kidding. Like any positive yardage, like people are like up in their booth, like hollering and be like, "Yeah, go Dogs!" Woo-hoo! Like shut the fuck up.
that's the difference here. Because like
Obviously not
even
a
for
fan.
like, or if you went to a bar for Eagles games, like there are people around here are crazy about the Eagles, but like you will get certain spots where like if the Eagles have it on like their own 17 or something, and it's like a 5-yard check down, like everybody's gonna be doing their own thing, you know what I mean? But like I feel like in there it's like, oh my, every play it's just like they're going after it, which is awesome. I love that.
Not to mention, like it's also incredibly satisfying when like your biggest rival loses and like the fans just
Yeah.
shut up for a week.
I also think the other thing as well is I think having the polls and the ranking system makes it interesting as well.
Yeah, it does.
Because you're now with the college football playoff, you're going down to the final weeks and you're like, okay, who's going to get in? Oh, I mean, we know by church we're going to make the playoffs. And it's not the same in college. Like, there's only 4 teams out of all these teams that are going to make it. Who's going to make it? And then you have, your bowl games and stuff like that. And it's just, it all comes down to the wire. And not to mention, God, one of the best weeks of the year is rivalry week. Like that shit's great. Like, obviously for me as a Michigan fan, it hasn't gone too well really recently, but you got your Michigan, Ohio State, and that's awesome. And then all the SEC teams facing off, um, and it's interesting. By the way, I think I mentioned this to you, Brendy, like a while ago. You probably don't remember. I think Penn State's rivalry game, and I could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure it's Rutgers, and I'm very confused why.
Let me check, but I think you're right.
Like, why? I guess like
Yeah, it is.
location wise, that's I
So
get it,
okay,
but
so question: where is University Park in Pennsylvania?
Bobby, I don't.
University Park. Isn't that in Center? No.
Well, no, that's the name of the city.
I'm trying to think how far outside of like or where a city would be that you could compare it to.
Well, I was thinking like Pittsburgh,
3 hours.
but I wasn't sure.
3 hours. Yeah.
Is it near Pittsburgh?
It's getting close.
Okay, and then Rutgers is in New Jersey somewhere.
Yeah, it's
in
like
Camden.
central. Well, there's two different campuses, but yeah.
Yes.
Piscataway. Is that how you pronounce it?
I have no fucking clue.
I've heard of it and I can't think of how to say it, so I'll let you. But something like that.
It's extreme North Jersey. I'll tell you that.
I was gonna say because it's there's like two campuses, but the main one is the one in North, the New Brunswick one.
Right.
It's just I don't know, like that's weird. But either way, I mean, like the rivalry games are awesome, and most of the time those last games of the season are gonna depend, conferences and who's gonna win, move up in the division or whatever. It's just something that. Sure, with the NFL, you have week 17 where teams are trying to get in, or week 16, but a lot of the times you kind of know, like, I'm not saying it's top heavy, don't get me wrong, but like, that kind of what teams are going to be there. Like, you have bubble teams. You might have like in week 17, like, or week 16, maybe 3 or 4 teams are in the hunt. But I mean, with college, I mean, I don't know. It just seems like there's so much pressure, and like every game can matter for different reasons. If it's moving up in your conference or winning a conference or getting to the college football playoff, so everything's magnified. I feel like I keep saying that over and over, but I can't get like that's what really draws me. I think is that everything is so big.
Dude, college football is definitely more competitive. I mean,
Yeah.
you have young guys who are still trying to make a career out of it. They're not getting paid, so obviously the only thing they could care about is winning and getting better because they want to be, they want to be drafted. So of course they're going to try a lot harder.
I was gonna
And
say
I'm
I
not saying
think
that.
there's an incentive.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that the NFL players aren't trying. I'm just saying money is a little bit less of an incentive for them.
I don't know. Well, I mean, the NFL, obviously, you would hope at least if you're rooting for a team that the team's incentive is to win the Super Bowl, and that should be the player's incentive. But I think there's
Right.
more to that in college. Like you want
No,
to
I
have team
agree. I'm
success.
not. And I want to say that I'm not
Yeah, no,
saying
I
that
get that.
NFL players are just saying, "Oh, whatever, we're making money. I don't care."
Well,
I'm saying that they're
I was
just
kind of like adding on to your point because, like, I think with college, there's incentive not only for your team but for yourself,
right.
and that is in the NFL. Don't get me wrong, but I think there should be more team incentive in the NFL.
I think maybe that's why it
And
takes. I mean, obviously, other than the fact that like rookies being new to the NFL, I think it takes them a while to get accustomed to that type of play.
yeah,
Is number one, you're playing at the highest level, and number two, I mean, I would think at least for me, I think the money would go to my head, pretty quick,
some
because you're
players
like,
does.
because you go from living like a college kid to a multimillionaire like in weeks.
And we talked about this on the podcast. I think you weren't there for this one, but when we did our draft bust, our biggest draft bust, one of them was Jamarcus Russell, who
Yeah.
he was one of the best college quarterbacks at the time. He comes into the league and like literally sucked like so bad, and that's because
he
like
sucks so bad that the Raiders.
I was gonna say because he more money than he was given before he even stepped on a field with the Raiders. And and look what happened to him. So, but yeah, I think kind of maybe to wrap this point up here, I'm definitely college. I think Brendy's college. Sounds like Zach's college, and Bobby's on the fence. Sounds
Definitely
like.
college. I think it's more competitive.
I would agree with that.
And it helps. So like, what would you say your favorite college team is? Like, would you have to say Maryland?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'd say University of Maryland. I don't
Yeah,
really.
they're balling out this season.
I'm kind of I guess I don't know. I'm like super casual in the sense that I mean, I guess I always hope Maryland does well, but they're not like my team.
Right. You don't really
I
have
just
like a
kind of
go-to team though.
I just kind of enjoy watching the top 25 games. That's really all. That's really it for me.
Feel
That's
that.
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because that's when you're gonna get like that high, like the high intensity, high level of football. So
Right.
I
Yeah.
feel that, and like as a like I feel like just another point I thought of, like as a neutral, I enjoy watching college football games more than I do as a neutral of NFL games. Like I would rather much
Yeah.
watch
Absolutely.
Alabama rather than like Philadelphia, New England. Like I don't know. Like for me, I would much rather watch that. Sport has its shining moments, but yeah, we will wrap up that point there, and we are going to move on to our picks for the NFL this week. We did a podcast early last week, and then said we were going to post them on Twitter, and then on us, we forgot. That was actually that one. I'll take the blame for, but yeah, we're going to go through our picks. So the standings stay the same as they did after week 4. I am leading with 8 points, Brendy with 6, Bobby with 5. The week excuse me, the games, we have this week for week 6. First game we have on tap is the Chiefs at the Chiefs and the Texans. Why did I forget what Houston stood for? Have the Eagles and the Vikings, and the Browns and the Seahawks. I will start with the Kansas City Houston game, 34-23. The Chiefs got shocked on Sunday Night Football, losing to the Colts. Which, by the way, I just want to say the Colts are. I give them a lot of praise because they lost their, franchise quarterback in Andrew Luck. They're having a very good season. I think they're 3-2, and they lost one game in overtime. Like this team could be like one of the best teams in the league. So props to them.
Could they be a dark
But
horse?
I mean, possibly. I mean, they were to you. You had them. I think me and Brendy were like, yeah, they're going to go 6-10, and like you had them making the playoffs in our preview show last year. I thought you were crazy, but they did it. That was with Andrew Luck. We'll have to see though. But for the Chiefs, it was one of the few games that we've seen with Patrick Mahomes at quarterback where they weren't putting up big points. I think they ended the game with 10 points. The game last week, I'm sorry, Brendy, I have to bring them up again to put my point. The game with Houston and the Falcons last week was an absolute barn burner. It was a shootout. I mean, there was no defense played in this game. I could see that kind of happening here as well. I don't know what like the game totals are for this week, but I could see this being the highest one. And I look for Patrick Mahomes to kind of go apeshit this week. So I have them 34-23. Bobby, what is your prediction?
Yeah, Texas are coming off a really, really hot win against the Falcons, and Kansas City coming off a tough loss. But this is where
That's a hot win. But continue.
there's Kansas. You threw me off so fucking bad. I
can tell.
Holy shit. But no, I think Kansas City is still Kansas City. They had one bad game, and I have a feeling they're going to bounce back. And I'm going to go with Tyler that they're going to come back in a big way. So I got them beating the Texans 31-21.
And I'll actually go back to me. And what I'm going to do is what I usually do. I don't know, but it's also because Brendy's being a bitch and he needed to take a second. So I will go to all my picks. For the Philadelphia-Minnesota game, I have Philly winning 26-20. This is a team at the start of the year on our preview show that I said I looked at their schedule and couldn't see 2 losses. I think they have 2 losses at this point. So they are kind of struggling. And then with the Vikings, Kirk Cousins is kind of an anomaly. Like, good is Kirk Cousins bad? I don't really know.
He's like the
Last
biggest
week
hot cold quarterback right now.
like last week he played well, but it was like the Giants defense.
Right.
And then like and the week before against Chicago's defense, granted one of the best in the league. Like I think a high school quarterback could have done better. To think of him, their defense is very good again. They kind of had like a setback last day, but their defense is really good again. I have Philly in this one though. I also think that in my preview show, I have my MVP as Carson Wentz, and man, if I want that to hit, he needs to step it the hell up. So looking for a big week from him. And then on the last game, Cleveland, Seattle. Seattle's been a team that's come out really hot, and they're I don't want to say a surprise team, but they are doing well. I think I had them as a wild card spot. Doing really well, and they look like they got their juice back.
I really like how. Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you real quick. I really like how Nick Foles came in and he was like, "And that's how you do it," and I'm leaving.
I'm gonna head out.
I was way off. Yeah. But I get it. But Cleveland, wow. I know we talked about these expectations and stuff like that, but this has been kind of tough to watch.
Give him time.
And you know, I have to bring this up. Like it's just been sitting there, and I know Bobby's gonna roll his eyes, but they played the 49ers last week, and
look at that fucking schedule, Tyler.
If you look back to the preview show, I said that they were a friend playoff team, and I think Brendy and Bobby said they would both have 4 wins.
12 straight losses coming right up, serving it to you fucking cold, buddy.
4-12.
They're
4-0 right now.
Fuck you.
They're 4-0 and they beat the Chiefs and the Cowboys. I feel like those are 2 pretty good wins.
Look at that. No.
The 49ers, you're looking at the wrong team.
Yeah, we're talking about the 49ers, right?
That was preseason, right?
That's preseason, my fault.
I was like, I don't think they played the Chiefs yet.
Yeah, sorry. I typed in regular season schedule. It's still showing those games for some reason.
I ain't even gonna like bash you for. I appreciate the hustle, trying to get put something in the podcast. I like it. But no, for them, I think Cleveland. Again, I think I said this with the Ravens game that they won. This is a make or break game for them. If you lose this game, like you were. So they need to win this game. I have them winning 24-21. Bobby, you can finish out your picks, and then we'll go to the big bitch over there.
Yep. So, all right. Hey, Philadelphia, I really have a bone to pick with you, okay? You're my defense in 2 fantasy leagues. You have 1 big game, and I decide to bench you on one of them. What the fuck are you? You're one of the higher ranking defense in fantasy, and then you just fell off a fucking cliff.
A huge week.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like they had 1 huge week, and I benched them on the one because they were killing me, dude. They were killing me. Like they literally were getting me negative points. It was ridiculous. So step your fucking shit up, please, dear God. And especially since Kirk is not doing so hot right now, please, dear God, show me again that you actually have a solid defense. Your offense is there, man. I mean, I don't doubt that for a second, but dear fucking God, I'm so mad at you, but I have you winning 28-24. Fuck you. Anyway.
After all that.
Look, I don't, the fact that Kirk's off this game so much, I can't get behind him right now. Anyway, Seattle, Cleveland, I really do not have much to say about this right now. You know what? I am still going to be on the Cleveland chain, but not for this game at all. No, they're so down in the dumps for me right now. I want them to pick back up. I want them to finish out strong. But at the moment, it's just looking less and less likely. So I got Seattle just absolutely ripping them apart 34-14. So there you go.
All right. Since we're kind of wrapping things up, I'll try to just make my picks as quick as possible. So Houston versus Kansas City. I've got Houston winning this one 30-24. Houston looking good. I'm a big believer in Deshaun Watson. And Patrick Mahomes, like, he's been good, but
he's still got a lot to prove.
Yeah, and he's been disappointing like recently.
Yeah, I know.
So I have a feeling that Houston is gonna. I have a feeling that Houston's gonna get one on the road. Philly versus Minnesota. I honestly have no idea what to think of this game. I thought that Minnesota was gonna be like an unbeatable team this season after they destroyed the Falcons. But then they've been losing to like really weird teams that they shouldn't have.
You come to find out the Falcons are bad.
Well,
Little
that's
did you know.
Yeah, that's a different story. I don't feel like talking about them.
Brendy, the Broncos and the Falcons have the same record. How do you feel?
You guys are in a neck and neck race for Tua.
The Falcons aren't going to draft Tua if they
Yeah,
have the
I
first pick.
I don't even remember who the Falcons beat in their one win.
Eagles.
Yeah,
Oh,
fuck
wow.
you.
And like the last second win.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry, Brendy. I just like to pick them off.
Moving on. Okay. I've got Minnesota winning this one 30-20 pretty handily. And then I have this one is actually a little bit. So I made fun of Tyler for picking the Ravens and the Browns last week. And like, to be honest, like I thought the Ravens were going to cakewalk the Browns, but like that, like obviously did not turn out to be the case. And Cleveland might actually be a team to, not necessarily like they're a team to keep an eye out on. I would say. So I'm gonna have Cleveland. I know they're playing at home, but like I will say that I still feel like it's gonna be like Cleveland, like with an upset, even though they're playing at home. I'll have Cleveland winning 20-17.
I have no idea how hard it was not to pick the Redskins Dolphins game for this week. I wanted to pick that so bad.
Tank Bowl.
Let's talk about it right now. Let's go.
What is there to say?
Redskins 40-0. Okay, moving on.
I don't know, dude. I got the Dolphins on this one.
You fucking dude, they are beached at this point. It costs more to get into the Miami Zoo than it is to get into the football field, and that's not even a joke. That's a literal fucking fact.
Dude, post a link to that on the Twitter.
Fucking Christ! It was all over Twitter today. I have to go find it. I think it's like $18 to get into the stadium and $21 for the fucking zoo.
All right, and that's it. That's all we need to know. The Redskins got this.
I actually didn't know that was true. I
Convinced me just like that.
That is so funny. Oh my god, man. That's crazy. But anyway, we're gonna wrap up with Zach's track of the week. Zach, what you got?
Dude, track of the week is actually a track I found today because I loved it that much. Another UK deep dubstep song. What can I say?
You're a sucker for this shit, aren't you?
I am a sucker for it. It's you guys didn't know. I'm gonna drop some knowledge on you. Dubstep started in the UK in the early '90s with people like Youngsta and Mala.
Take your word for it.
And sign up for Dub History 311.
I got bored last night and read the dubstep Wikipedia page.
What the fuck? All right, fair.
This week's track of the week is called Airlock by Tony Rock Horror.
And what can we expect from such tracks besides dubstep? I'm not letting you get away with that. Sorry, excuse me.
140 beats per minute. 140 dubstep is when the snare hits on the third measure.
Okay, that was actually a better answer than I thought it was going to
be.
This dude was fucking ready.
Bobby was testing him, and he just knocked that back in his face. All right, with that, we're gonna wrap up.
Anyway, Airlock, Tony Rocky Horror. Check it out.
Link in the description.
We'll wrap up the show there. If you'd like to contact us, we're on Twitter at Complay Network. We also have a Facebook page that I've been trying to promote, and that is also Complay Network. And it's been a good show. We'll be back next week as always. But until then, we will see you next time for episode 38 of the Complay Podcast.